This is the Johnny Cleveland Podcast, all things Cleveland sports, with your host, John Suchan. This is the Johnny Cleveland.
Oh, I just wanted to say it twice, right? Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Johnny Cleveland Podcast. It is a Monday evening. What day is it? March 4th. Yes, indeed. Welcome aboard this wonderful evening. I hope you've had a great Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. Let me see here. I'm going to find some of this wonderful music here. We'll throw in the background here. We got this Vinny music. Let's see here. Hold on a second. This is called Vinny on the Block or something weird like that. Not Jenny on the Block, but Vinny. Thanks to all of you who are tuning in. And, hope you had a good weekend. It's beautiful weather here in the Buckeye State. Been a very nice day, pleasant, in the 70s. I'm a bit of weather geek, so love it when it turns out to be great weather. And anywho, if you're watching us on this feed on either Facebook or YouTube or the X, you might see the headline there. I have Russell Wilson. Yes, the Denver Bronco, the former Denver Bronco, is now available. We're going to get into that here in a minute and talk about a few other things with the Cleveland Brownies. We have free agency right around the corner. We've got the draft coming up soon, and just want to welcome you in again to the Fanatical Elves Network. We are growing by leaps and bounds, and I want to thank all the new guys that have come along, from Lou Marconi to Noah to Jarrell. These guys are killing it right now with their shows. East Bank, the East Bank show, sports show. We've got Lou's coming on with his Burning River Browns talk. Now that he's going to be providing that to you daily in the mornings. Great stuff there. And then Jarrell's bringing his dog food radio show, which is awesome. So thanks again to all of you guys who are helping out our Fanatical Elves, along with the experienced crew that's been here for a year now. We've got Steve Gill down there doing the Dog Pound South podcast. We've got Sam, the young man down there in Texas, bringing his Browns breakdowns. And then, of course, we've got Elliot Canal bringing the Oracle Speaks. And let's not forget about Rod Bloom, who's bringing his Browns Blitz. I think they're recording a show tonight, but we'll be providing that to you probably first thing tomorrow. We try to provide you shows every day of the week, sometimes multiple shows every day of the week. And like I mentioned, also, Lou's going to be doing a show daily in the mornings. So you want to tune in for that. Just get your daily fix of Browns news, 5-10 minute warm up while you're drinking your coffee or your hot tea or whatnot as you're getting ready to go off to work. So tune into all that. It should be a lot of fun, but a lot to talk about leading into all this stuff coming on with free agency. Some bigger moves happening today. Not a huge shocker here, but Russell Wilson was not loved in Denver, and his massive deal to become the Broncos' star quarterback for years to come. Well, it was torn up, and he's no longer will no longer be a Denver Bronco come March 13th when the NFL opens up their official league play or official season to make moves. So in doing so, the Broncos now are taking on, and I want to give you the exact details here. They are going on to where they're going to take a big hit with dead money here. Let me see here. I got it right up here. So they're taking an $85 million hit in dead cap money to release Russell Wilson. They are $35 million this year, $53 million basically in 2025. They're eating $39 million of that money and giving it to Russell Wilson. So Russell Wilson is getting $39 million still. And if you are a Browns fan and you're wondering, well, how long are we going to have, Deshaun Watson? We talk about Deshaun a lot because he is married to the Cleveland Browns forever and ever and ever. There are possibilities of getting out of ginormous contracts like the Broncos just showed. I don't think, and most of you Browns fans probably agree, that we're not looking at that right now and don't see that in the foreseeable future. But I won't say never. And what the Broncos have done is, they basically decided that they screwed up. Now, that's Denver. Cleveland, I don't know if they want to openly admit that they made any mistakes ever. And I'm not necessarily saying they have made a mistake yet, but we're going into year 3. And what exactly are we going to get from Deshaun in this upcoming season? I think all of us many Browns fans are looking forward to the possibilities. And Deshaun was 4-1 last year, or 5-1, depending on the actual details there. So he had a semi-successful season, but what's really kind of scary, and you start looking at statistics. And I know statistics don't always tell the whole story, but his numbers for like touchdown passes and interceptions is just so miserable. I mean, what did he throw? Like 7 touchdown passes to 5 interceptions or something, and then the year before, kind of the same thing. I know he hasn't played in a whole hell of a lot of games, but considering what we've seen from Deshaun Watson in his youth, I guess, when he played for Houston, which was just extraordinary numbers, those numbers aren't anything like that. And to be quite honest, is he more of a game manager than a top 10 quarterback these days? I know I'm throwing a lot at you tonight, but it is a little bit concerning. I think we're looking forward to what Deshaun can do, but there's so many of us Browns fans who are like, okay, when are you going to turn it on? And then if you don't turn it on, do we need, maybe you don't flip the switch and you don't become this guy who's throwing 45 touchdown passes in a season. But maybe could you throw maybe 10? And can you stay healthy? That's the other big question. So lots of questions right now. So this whole Russell Wilson thing, I mean, any kind of possibility? No way, right? No way would he even, no way, right? Andrew Berry, no way. But what if Russell Wilson goes to Pittsburgh? I've heard that. Have you heard that? I've, hearing through the grapevine that would the Steelers pick him up? I mean, here's the deal. Russell Wilson is basically free. You get that, right? So the Broncos are paying him. By the way, I love Diet Coke. Yes, there you go. Russell Wilson is getting paid $39 million by the Denver Broncos. So he's a free agent, and he can sign with anybody. Whoever signs him can basically get him for free. Wowzers. Now, is there a group out there, a team that will take him as a starter? I mean, we just mentioned Pittsburgh. What other teams are out there that need, obviously teams need quarterbacks. Many of the teams that are going to be looking to take a quarterback in the draft, they're going to take one in the draft, so they don't necessarily need somebody like Russell Wilson. Is Russell Wilson going to accept, Lord help his soul, being a backup? I mean, this guy, he's one of the most arrogant, pompous quarterbacks of all time. The man thinks that he walks in water. And it was a nice letter he wrote to the Bronco Nation, and he thanked the cafeteria ladies who make him food and bring him jam in the mornings for breakfast, I suppose. But it's like, did you read the letter? Have you seen the letter that he wrote to Bronco Nation? Not that you're going to do that, Browns fans, but I did happen to read the letter, and it was a nice letter. I mean, he tried to be genuine, but the guy is so not genuine, and that's part of the issue why he was released, because I don't think he got along with many people there, many of his teammates. He was very pampered, and anyway, we'll see. He's not coming to Cleveland. It's interesting, though, because, Russell Wilson for years has been linked to the Browns. When the Browns talked about trading for different quarterbacks before Russell went to Denver. Sorry, again, got a little, a lot of us, I got to say this, there's a lot of us with this whole cold stuff and crap that's been going around. This is week 2, actually 2 weeks plus now, that I've been having these, the little sore throat, not necessarily a sore throat, just drippage and all that crap, that you get with these colds. It's that time of year, folks. It's March, and now we're getting into the warm season and allergies and all sorts of fun stuff. So we don't know what's going to happen to Russell, but we don't care. And it's the Denver Broncos and are stuck giving all that money in dead cat money. So it'll be interesting to see how Denver comes out of this in the end. We're going to pause for a quick break here on the Johnny Cleveland podcast. Oh, we're back. Did you like those commercials? I hope you did. All right, so let me get my handy dandy notebook here. Okay, give me 1 minute if you're watching. All right. By the way, I don't know if you can see in the background on my screen here, if you're watching this on YouTube, the X. Again, follow us on Apple, on Spotify. That's where we make the big bucks here in the Fanatical Elves. And we appreciate your loyalty. But if you notice in the background, I've got my lamp. Thanks to my mother-in-law, Barb, who bought me that. It's a stained glass. I don't know if you can see that. Pretty cool, isn't it? Brown's lamp. If you want one of those, I don't know where you can find it because it was a gift. Anywho, all right. A couple other things with the Brownies. Free agency starts very soon. Next week, Sunday, March 10th. Today's March 4th, so March 10th. The 13th is when the season kind of opens up for free agents to sign. So you're going to see a lot of things happening this week with players who are being released and thoughts of players being traded. All that's going to be, kind of coming to the forefront. I'm still annoyed, as you probably are, Browns fans. There's still this chatter about Nick Chubb being released and stuff. It's not happening. Lou Marconi wrote his article and had his show this morning about the silly season. It truly is the silly season when they start talking about the Browns dumping Nick Chubb. So we got to really pay attention to all of that. What's going to happen with the Browns with free agency? We have a lot to talk about coming up here in the next week. We'll have some additional shows, especially when the Browns start picking some of their free agents. When the draft starts, we'll start having some extra shows when they have their draft picks. Right now, I think they're going to schedule the draft number 54. Hold on 1 second. Pause for a Diet Coke drink here. Hold on a second. We talked about some of these. One possibility that came out today, which is just almost crazy in itself, just like Russell Wilson. Ernesto Caruso, I believe. Or let's see, I can't even read my writing. Kovar, who writes for Browns Nation, came out with this article about how he thinks that Justin Fields would be a good target for the Browns in a trade and swap quarterbacks, basically. Have you heard that one? That one came out. That's silly season, right? Deshaun Watson, Justin Fields swapping and being traded for one another. The guy's reasoning is basically that the Browns want a running quarterback, which they already have in Deshaun Watson, but he feels that Justin Fields would be a good fit here in Cleveland now. That's not happening, but people are writing this stuff. Let's talk Cleveland Browns draft for a minute. There's a kid, a running back, and I think Steve Gill has mentioned him before on some of our shows. Audric Eckstein, who's the running back out of Notre Dame, a 3-year guy, had about 1,300 yards, 18 touchdowns last season for the Brownies. And he was at the NFL Combine this last week and really ran very poorly in terms of his 40-yard dash. He did a 4.7, and they were saying the worst numbers of all the running backs, and it really probably plummeted his status, which isn't necessarily a bad thing for the Brownies. Would the Browns consider bringing in a young kid from Notre Dame, who's Tommy Rees, who's the Browns' new offensive guy for tight ends or whatnot, was the offensive coordinator of Notre Dame. So he coached Audric. Would the Browns consider bringing him in? I think they will. And so keep an eye on that name when we get to draft time. Audric Eckstein, kid out of with the Fighting Irish. So those are a couple things to consider as we move forward here. Did want to give not a shout out, but a remembrance of Chris Mortensen, who was the ESPN longtime analyst, draft guru guy for football. He died earlier, I believe today or yesterday, at the age of 72. And, many of us who have watched ESPN for the last, up to 20 years. Chris Mortensen was a huge part of everything ESPN, and he lost his battle to cancer. And so I want to give our thoughts and prayers to the Mortensens family and to ESPN. I know they've talked about him quite a bit today on various shows on that network. So we are thinking of Chris Mortensen today. Excuse me. Outside of that, I got nothing else, folks. I hope you have a good rest of your Monday. We have a lot of shows coming up this week. Lou's going to be bringing his shows up in the morning. The Browns Burning River show, great stuff. He brings a kind of a daily flair to the week. Get you updated on all the things that are necessary. Noah Olson is his buddy Matt are bringing the East Bank show. Jarrell's bringing his dog radio show. We've got Steve Gill, always bringing it with his Dog Pound South show. And we got our young man, Sam, doing the Browns breakdowns, like I mentioned, and Elliot bringing his Oracle Speaks. And then we got Rod Bloom. Rod's show will be coming out tomorrow morning, first thing as well. He's got a great interview going on tonight, and look forward to hearing his show later this week. Folks, tune in to us every day. We bring you a new podcast, and we just need you to follow us. Hit the follow button, hit that subscribe button. Tell your other friends and family about the Fanatical Elves. Okay, folks? Take care. Have a great rest of your evening. And remember to, that's right, keep smiling.